Good. Are you all full? Yes? Yes. Yes. Okay. So, today we have a lot of, very nice. So, two of our, let me see, are they still here? Phyllis? Are y'all still here? Phyllis and, okay, I think they have left. They have left, but they have left us with this calendar. Yeah. So, they are not from Comfort Del Grow. Yeah, they're not from Comfort Del Grow. But they did this project called Project Care. I'll probably ask them to come and share one of the weeks. Yeah, and it's a program for elderlies, for benefiting elderlies. So it's similar to our previous visit to Liamoy home. Yeah. So as an effort to actually provide assistance to them, then I think they got sponsorship, and I think Comfort Del Grow participated, and so I have they left behind quite a bundle of this. So later on, please come and get one. Otherwise, Shifu will have a lot of calendar to bring back. Yeah. So, all right. Wow, what a lunch! Every second Tuesday of the month is quite a challenge for me. Yeah, because it's one of the toughest things to do. There are two kinds of talks that are difficult to give. One is before lunch. One is after lunch. Yeah, and it's even tougher to give to a bunch of folks who have just eaten and then meditated. All very sedated. But let's jump right in. Let's take a look on my left. Anybody who is new, let me see, or who have not introduced yourself before, up to the 4th, 5th row, 6th row. Yes, we have two friends from, two friends, mother and daughter. Yes, come, introduce yourself, tell us your name.
My name is Yu Tong.
Yu Tong. Hello.
Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia. We're happy to be here to join all of you, and we hope to come here more often as well. Thank you.
Very good. And how did you discover this group?
Facebook.
Facebook. Oh, well done. Very good. Yeah. Welcome. Look, my sister. Wow. The daughter and mommy. Yeah. They were attending the Dhamma school and then the parents class. Yeah. So good to see you all. Welcome. So who else? Let me see. After them, I think. Let me see. Who is that? No, I think. Who? Anybody who is new? You're here? Oh yeah. First time.
Yes, Shifu attended Tuesday's class.
Yeah, she attended Tuesday class.
Here is first time.
So tell them your name.
我是丽华 My English name is Joanne.
Joanne. Wow. Welcome.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, you must learn from her, spotting one. Yeah?
KS.
Wow, see? Very good. So she attends the Tuesday class. There's a class on Tuesday. It's quite a unique class. We have this book called In the Buddha's Words. Yeah, we shorten it to ITBW. So every Tuesday in the evening, they will gather around my place, and then we have a reading of the book. So Shifu will read a passage, and then I will have some sharing. And sometimes they'll have questions, have thoughts, and we'll share. The book itself is compiled, translated by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi, and it's an anthology of the various Nikayas, linked together, following a certain framework. Yeah, so it's a much recommended book by myself, as in recommended by myself, not written by myself, because it gives a very good primer for those of us who, after learning some Dhamma, maybe have some interest to read the suttas. But then when you have this intent and you come into contact, then you realize, wow, there are so much suttas to read. Yeah, volumes after volumes. There's not just one book, there's many books. Yeah, and we haven't even touched the commentaries. We haven't even touched the Mahayana Sutras. So it can be quite bewildering. Yeah. So if you are interested, you can actually find this book, and if you want, you can read by yourself. But if you like, you can join us on Tuesday as well. All right? Welcome. Who else? Let me see. Man Singh, have you introduced yourself? Yeah. You notice that whenever the newcomers come, they have two kinds of reaction. One, they look at me very steadily, as though they have been here for many years. Yeah. But one look I know is a newcomer. Otherwise, second type is like him, start looking at the parquet flooring. Come, tell us your name.
My name is Man Singh. My first time here as well, but not the first time attending Shifu's class. But
yes.
I'm really happy to see all of you, and let's meet regularly together.
Yeah, very good. Welcome. Man Singh and myself goes quite a long way back. We have a common friend who is my long-time friend. Yeah, but to protect his identity, I cannot mention his name. He's one of those. Not him, but our common friend has this thing about maintaining confidentiality and privacy and whatnot. We go all the way back to consulting. Yeah, so it's good to see him and attend the other classes. I think previously, what class were you in? The Heart Sutra? Heart Sutra, yes. Yeah. So recently we had a catch up because he shared the same birthday as my dad, but he was too polite to gate crash the lunch. Yeah. So we had a catch up, and then I told him to come and drop by and join us for lunch and SGC. Welcome. Okay, the rest are all season parking holders. The end of the year is coming. Please renew your season parking coupon. On my right, let me see. Anybody who is new? All the familiar faces. Very good. Did you enjoy your lunch? Say yes. Yes. Okay, good. Who else? Okay. Anybody who is new? I think on the right. Yes. Today we have a long-time SGC couple. Now they come back with a new member. Yes, our heartiest congratulations to Wilson and his wife. The baby is 8 months old. What is her name?
Hi, Shifu.
Yes.
My daughter's name is Dana Sim.
Yes, Dana Sim. Yeah.
Dana.
Dana. Yeah. So is it a Pali name?
It's an English name.
English name, yeah. But the spelling is the same, Yeah. So introduce yourself, a lot of them have not seen you before.
Good afternoon, Shifu. My name is Wilson. My wife's name is Shifu.
Yes.
I'm 35 years old.
Oh. Okay. Huh? What?
I came here
Yes.
some time already.
Yes, yes.
A long time didn't manage to come.
Yeah.
Finally got the chance to do so.
Yes. Now that the baby is 8 months old, congratulations. The lady behind introduced before, right? Yes. Why are you sitting alone by yourself? Come and sit forward. Come. Who has an empty seat next to you? Come and move forward. Don't sit by yourself. Come. No, it's not okay. Yeah. Come. Yes, very good. Do you know anybody here? She's like, stop looking at me. Don't talk to me. Welcome to SGC. We have the short puja and short meditation. Was the meditation short? Short, huh? Not too long. You know why is this short? Because I didn't bring any phone today, and then I don't have any clock in front of me. So there's a chance that we'll finish at maybe 5. Yeah, because I have no clock here to remind me of time. Okay, so what?
Thank you for the.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so maybe you can like alert me when it's 2:30 and when it's 2:45. 2:30 and 2:45. Okay. So today is the second Sunday. We usually have the teaching on the Bodhisattva precepts on the first Sunday, but today is special because last week we had our Heart Sutra retreat where we have intensive 3 days of classes. Yeah, so it was quite an amazing time. Because I was having cough and surprisingly managed to, I don't know. You all go and watch the video when it's out. Yeah, then you hear my voice completely different. Yeah. So, Bodhisattva precepts. We are now right towards the end of it already. Yeah. Precept 30, is it 39 or 38 or something? Let's take a look. So, it's been a while because it's once a month that we cover this. We started off having it weekly, then we switched to a monthly session. So, Bodhisattva. How many of you are familiar with the term Bodhisattva? Nobody? Okay, how many of you are not familiar with the term Bodhisattva? Yes, and of course, this is always the case. The tool set doesn't match. Yeah. So what is a Bodhisattva? A Bodhisattva is someone who strives to attain enlightenment, who have the desire, if you will, to attain enlightenment, but not for themselves. Not for themselves. When I was much younger, in secondary school, and in the religious knowledge class, we learn about this term Bodhisattva. Yeah. So at that point in time, the idea that we were taught was basically someone who strived to attain enlightenment. Pretty straightforward. But later on, I learned that it's just half the story. Yeah. Why is it half the story? Because if the aim is just to attain enlightenment, to attain Buddhahood, if that is an end, a goal by itself, then it may seem a bit self-centered that you want to attain enlightenment yourself. Yeah. But later on, I learned that the term Bodhisattva is not just about a person who wants to attain Buddhahood. Not just that. But it includes the reason why the person would want to do so. Yeah. It's not just about attainment of Buddhahood, but why you want to do so as well. The purpose of doing that. It would be like asking, sometimes when our kids are growing up, and then parents would ask the child, what do you want to do when you grow up? Yeah, and we would hear all kinds of amazing aspirations and goals, from the very common, I want to grow up and become a teacher, I want to become fat, no, I want to become rich, I don't know. Yeah, the usual occupation like teachers, like I want to become an engineer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a policeman, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and when those are described, sometimes it seems like it is just as an end by itself. Then some parents are more interesting. Some parents will ask them, why? Why do you want to do so? Yeah. That's where it becomes interesting. Because kids being kids, sometimes they can articulate, sometimes they have no idea why. Yeah. And sometimes their reasons for doing so may not be what we think of as correct. Like, you may have heard of some children who say that they want to become doctors. And then when you ask them why, it may simply be, because doctors can wear the white coat, look very smart. You know what I mean? Yeah? Or maybe some kids may say that they would like to become a teacher. And when you ask them why, they'll very innocently tell you, I want to be a teacher, Mommy, because my teacher, Miss Lim, is very nice to me. I want to be like her. No, not too bad. Yeah, but is that all? Yeah, is that all? For some people, when they have this idea, I want to become like Buddha, it may be very similar to the kid. Because the Buddha sit there very relaxed, then every day there are people who offer fruits, then got flowers, then got very nice food. No, in fact, there was a person who told me that he wanted to become a monk. And when I sit down with him and I asked him why. Why do you want to become a monk? And he basically told me, he said, I see you monks, you get a lot of ang pao. I was like, what? So I'm like, that's like, I was quite speechless. And this really happened. That person really very candidly told me that. Yeah, because you all get a lot of ang pao. I'm like, what? So sometimes we may do things. We may aspire to do things for very, in a way, innocent, but not quite right reasons. Yeah. So later on, I learned that the term Bodhisattva describes someone who has evoked bodhicitta. Wow, Shifu, before you explain one term, you bring in another term. Yeah, Bodhisattva and bodhicitta. So Bodhi is to be awakened, to awaken. Sattva, generally, simply put, sentient being. And then bodhicitta, chitta is mind. Yeah, so with the mind to awaken. So in this case, a bodhisattva is someone who strives to attain Buddhahood, but not just attain Buddhahood as an end by itself. Yeah, not because the Buddha sit there and then receive fruits. Not because Buddha seems to be always happy, don't have to worry about COE or car road tax and things like that. But for a higher ideal, that a person may be capable, not all, it's not a given that people will be able to care for others, but there are those who, despite everything, despite how tough life is, how much struggle we all go through, yet there are beings who decide, no, you know what, it's okay. yeah, life is difficult, life is tough, but I'm going to live my life not just for myself. I'm going to live my life not just for my family as well, but for every sentient being. I'm going to be tireless in my effort, in my endeavor. I'm going to not say, I don't know, but I'm going to say, I'm going to learn, I'm going to try. And yeah, there's a clock now. And it's 2:30. I haven't even started. You know, this is why when I go to give talks at those interfaith circles, right, and they give me 10 minutes, and I'm like, my preamble story takes more than 10 minutes. What am I supposed to say in 10 minutes? You know, some conferences, they give you like, yeah, we'll give you a bit more time, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm like, what? What? What happened? How is it 2:30? I thought when we started our puja, it was 1:15 or something. No? What time was it? Oh, 1:45. Oh. Okay, I guess, yeah, you understand Bodhisattva? Okay, let's continue. No, let's wrap that up, okay? So, I mean, sometimes do we not feel tired? You know, we want to improve ourselves. We want to care for our family members, our friends. We want to do so much things, isn't it, with our life? It's not that we are lazy or we are not willing. Yeah, we want, but sometimes it's just so difficult. Just so difficult. You try to help someone, the person give you a cold shoulder. You try to give them advice, they tell you to mind your own business. Yeah, even our children, especially our children sometimes. Yeah, like after all, by the time you have children, you are probably in your late 20s, if not 30s, and some of you may have children later. You are already in your 40s with a wealth of experience. You feel like you're not going to let your child go through all the mistakes you have done. So you want to, like, just, if you can, plug in a USB cable and plug into his brain or her brain and just overnight download everything, you know. You wish you can do that, but you can't. So you try other ways. You try to share with them your life experiences, and you tell them, don't do that, don't do this, do that, no. And then what do you get instead? You get your children look at you with disdain and contempt, and then they shun you, they stop talking to you, they tell you, don't bother me. Oh, I feel so hurt. Huh? Do you feel hurt? Say yes. Yes. So sometimes we give up. Sometimes we feel like, don't bother lah. Sometimes we feel like doing that. But mothers being mothers, fathers being fathers, you say that and then 5 minutes later you come back, what are you doing here? We may do that for our family, but even then, occasionally we feel disheartened. Yeah, being parents, sometimes we may just blurt out things that we regret, only to later, like have a small whimper in our room or in the toilet or somewhere, I don't know where. Or some of you may text Shifu, Shifu, how? Yeah. But despite all these difficulties, there are those beings among us. It's not that they are from outer space, they are somewhere else. No. It's not that, Bodhisattvas have it easy. No. It's not that Bodhisattvas, that when they start being a Bodhisattva, trying, everything goes smoothly. No. Let me assure you, no. They go through the same difficulties, the same challenges as us, the same ups and downs as us. The difference between us and them, why we pay respect to them, why we look up to them as beacons of light, as our compass, as our direction, as someone whom we want to emulate. It's because despite all that, they decide that, you know what, it's okay. It's okay. That they're going to keep trying. They're not going to give up on anybody. They will not give up. 不舍众生戒. Yeah. Can you imagine that? It's not written here, but underlying all this, there's actually this notion, this precept, if you will, that a Bodhisattva shall not abandon any single sentient being. No, you will not abandon any sentient being. Wow. Yeah. For us, will you abandon your friends? No. Yeah? But what if your friends sabo you? Then we're very fed up, right? Then we are very fed up and we're like, ugh, you watch out. But maybe we still forgive them. Then we don't abandon them. But in the heat of that moment, maybe we feel like abandoning them. But how about those who are not so friend to us? Yeah? Then maybe we don't even have to think about abandoning them. They are not even in our equation at the first place. Yeah? But despite that, there are those sentient beings who go beyond this human limitation, who find in them this seemingly bottomless well of patience, bottomless well of love and compassion. Yeah. It doesn't start like that, mind you. They start off just like us. And they have given up more times than us in a way. Except that they stop giving up. They start cultivating themselves. They start to perfect themselves, bring themselves to perfection. These teachings are for those who would like to go in that direction, but haven't quite made it. So this is very good for us. Because we are trying. And you will see, as you have seen from the suttas, the precepts, it is very telling. It speaks of a lot of understanding from the enlightened ones of the struggle. And why? Because they have gone through it themselves. They know how tough it is for us. How tough it is to be a mother. How tough it is to be a father, to be a friend. And then to have those that we try to help turn their back against us. They know how tough it is. And that's why they set down these precepts with all the subtleties inside to encourage us, to nudge us forward. Let's take a look. We are now at, let me see. Is it 38 or 39? 38. Oh, I tell you, let me tell you, sometimes it's just amazing. Precept 38, not being cooperative. The Bodhisattvas speak to us. If a Bodhisattva, out of detest, is not cooperative, this is named a transgression, multiple transgressions. It's a transgression of defiled nature. Some of you may be wondering, like, this monk must be quite crazy every week. Every week he'll look at the text and then he'll read it and then after he'll laugh by himself. Oh boy. The rest, some of you know what I'm laughing about. You all know what I'm laughing about. You all don't know. Some know, some don't know. Something you know but actually you don't know. If acted out of laziness or slackness, such transgression is of undefiled nature. Oh boy. Yeah. You see, it's not that Maitreya Bodhisattva or Sakyamuni Buddha 2,000 over years ago know that today we are going to go through this. I will tell you, it is not because they know that today or this period we're going to go through this, but it's because since beginningless time, people have been going through this. Since beginningless time, Bodhisattvas, as much as we have this pure state of mind, of heart, but sometimes, because as long as you are not enlightened, Then sometimes you do stupid things. Sometimes you get overwhelmed by your ego. Sometimes you feel indignated. Sometimes you feel like people don't understand you. But sometimes it's because you don't understand people. And so you act in a non-cooperative manner. This is so interesting, non-cooperative. If you don't cooperate with others, for a Bodhisattva, it's considered a transgression. Oh. You see how high the standard is? Is there a law about this? That if you are not cooperative, it's against the law? There are actually. If you do not cooperate with officers of the law, yeah, not just police, anybody who holds a warrant and within the jurisdiction asks for a cooperation, you have to cooperate. Yeah. There was once I have this friend who works with the custom. Yeah, she's not with the custom as in like at the custom. She's a senior officer dealing with policy. But they have their staff badge, which you turn around, is actually a warrant. And then there's the seal and everything, all the works, and then it reads, the holder of this warrant is, like given authority by the state, blah, 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 and has the right to search the premise of, holy was like, steady, So legally, if you want to stay in a country, there are certain, regulations, rule and law. Yeah. But how about beyond such circumstances? How about if you're at home or at work with your friends and you're not cooperative? Yeah? You're not cooperative. Your friends say meet at a certain time, then you're late. Is that being cooperative or not? In a way, you're not being cooperative, isn't it? And if you do that, what will happen? People have to wait for you, lor. Am I talking about you? All of you like, hey, Shifu, don't talk about this lah. But sometimes we seem to not cooperate. There's a difference between being non-cooperative versus not being able to fulfill certain things. One is intentional, the other is non-intentional. Being uncooperative is intentional. So for example, if you all arrange for a certain meetup and you are late because there was a massive accident, yeah, and then you are stuck in the traffic jam, yeah, you did not fulfill the promise, yeah, but you are not being uncooperative. This is something I want to highlight first and foremost. Non-cooperativeness entails a conscious decision that you decide you do want to do according to how others have agreed on, how in fact you have agreed on as well. Yeah, you agreed to do something. Maybe you agree with your friends, your family members even, or for that matter your colleagues, to do certain things. Yeah, to do certain things perhaps in a particular way. And then you decide, no, I don't want to do it that way. This is where we say a person is being incooperative. Is it incooperative or uncooperative? Yeah. Have you all been like that before in your life? Raise your hand. Raise. Who have been uncooperative? Even Shifu raised already. Who don't raise? Who has been uncooperative? Raise your hand. Then I want to see who dare to not raise. Okay, put down your hands. Doesn't mean that you must raise. If you have never been uncooperative in your life, you should be proud. You should just let it. Yeah. And then Shifu will walk over and say, so, you have never been uncooperative. Then you should say, yes, I have been cooperative my whole life. Anything that others need of me, and I would just try my best to fulfill their wishes. Yeah. And whatever I promise, and I agree to, I will do accordingly. I will not simply act on impulse. I shall not be impudent. I shall not be defiant in my ways. Yeah, I shall be respectful of others' decision and what I have promised to others. I shall not act willfully. But we have all been, yeah. Just now, all of us raise our hand, correct? In front of Buddha, you all raise your hand. Even Shifu raised my hand, right? Yeah, I have been, let me tell you all my story first. I'm so glad, that in my whole life I've done a lot of stupid things. So whenever I look at the teaching, talking about me. Yeah. I shared this story a few times this week, just this week. Then, just nice. Long time ago when I was in R&D, the team I was in was quite unique because usually marketing is driving engineering. Yeah, because marketing will usually come up with some crazy fancy ideas, features, and then we have to fulfill it. And more often than not, we are behind. Engineering is usually like short of time and then rushing for for time and schedule. But come on, this is not any other engineering team we are talking about. This is so we are usually ahead of schedule. Yeah, we usually push and drive marketing. They run out of ideas for us to do. So we usually finish all of our features and development, and we go through our alpha beta testing and go for release candidate, and then only to be told that marketing says that they are not ready for the product to be shipped, and we'll be left sitting there. Ship. Come on, ship it. Yeah. Usually it's the reverse. For most engineering team with marketing, it's the reverse. So there was one time when we have already gone past, I think, alpha. So at the various stages, then we have certain engineering discipline where if you have gone past, let's say, alpha, then we usually have feature freeze. That means you don't change features anymore. And once you go past alpha, then you go to beta, you are basically trying to do bug fixes. Yeah. Once you go past beta, where you fix all the like showstopper bugs, and then the medium, you usually go for code freeze by the time you are in release candidate, unless there's some major showstopper bug. Otherwise, you don't change the code anymore. Yeah. So one day, marketing came to us and asked for another feature to be added. Yeah. And then I had the longest meeting with my senior engineer. We had a half an hour discussion. Yeah. And it was basically three of us, the senior engineer, my colleague, and then myself. Yeah. The two of us, we are the development team. And yeah, for half an hour, I tell you with a smiling face, but I'm not that proud to tell you actually, because for half an hour, I basically had this back and forth with my senior engineer, trying to convince him why we shouldn't do it, and he's trying to convince us, or rather me specifically, because I'm the one who is going to do it, why I should do it. It's usually a love-hate relationship with me at work. Because you will love me because I will always deliver ahead of time. So you will love me. But sometimes I will say no. And for half an hour I said no. And after half an hour, this is what I told my boss. I said, okay, look, I don't think you can convince me why I should do it. And I can't convince you why we shouldn't do it. And mind you, he's a senior engineer, I'm just an entry-level engineer. And I said that. And I said, but if you insist, I'll do it. And he said, yes, I insist. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And then he's like, do you know that in the half an hour, you could have done it already? Why do you need to go through this half an hour just to say that you will do it? Why can't you just do it? I'm like, well, because I don't think I don't think it's necessary to have that feature. You all didn't think it's funny. But it's very funny to me because we do ridiculous things like that. And I'm serious. And you see, he's serious and I'm serious, that in a half an hour, I would have finished that feature already. Probably in shorter time. In a half an hour, I'll probably come up with 2 versions or 3 of the same feature written in different ways. But I just decided, no, I don't think I should do it. As my mom would say, pai si lah. In a way, that is the example, a very prime example of uncooperativeness. Uncooperativeness. That sometimes we are quite easygoing. And that's how I'm usually seen. Yeah, most friends and colleagues would see me, and I like to think that devotees, students also find me quite easygoing. Say yes. Yes, okay, good. See, I'm easygoing. But sometimes, occasionally, yeah, there'll be this little guy up there who like, no, hey, like 500 of the engineers up there like ready to just code. And in fact, while discussing, we probably thought of how it can be written already. But there's one guy up there who's like, why should we give in? I say no. I put out my veto card, no. And then the mouth open, make some noise, no. And then I basically wasted everybody's half an hour.
But it's not true. Sometimes at workplace it happens very often.
Yes.
Your external or your boss cannot convince you of the logical reason why they want you to do something.
Yes, yes.
I would do the same as you.
So you are still at that stage.
But then you'll talk back. But if your boss, you want me, okay, no, fine, at the end of the day, I cannot say anything. I don't want to know. But I would like give it a try to like reason.
Yes. It's a fine line between being uncooperative versus being difficult. No, it's the same thing, huh? Okay, let me try that again. It's a fine line between being difficult, uncooperative, and having principle. Yeah. I still say that we shouldn't say yes to everything. But if we consistently say no to everything, then we are being difficult. If in the face of everybody telling us, don't do that, and we still say, you know what, I'm going to stick it to the team and do it anyway, that is being uncooperative. Yeah. It doesn't mean that we should just say yes to everything. Exactly. Completely agree. And that's what I've been telling students also. If you just say yes to everything, you are just a yes man, you are a doormat. You are someone whom your boss will keep pushing you to do weekends, and you will just say, okay, lor, boss say ma. And one of you have shared with me, I'm very grateful for people who share with me and come to me for consult. So I try to, but I find the encounters very meaningful, so I will sometimes share without the person's name, okay? Is it okay? Can I? Among friends and YouTube. There was this person who is on the other end of the spectrum of being uncooperative. And I would say that person is too cooperative. Yeah. So while this precept is about uncooperativeness, today's linguistic is a bit off. But on the other end of the spectrum, do not become yes men. There was this student who told me that her director, or his director for that matter, would demand her to, or him to deliver things, to produce certain things, which boss don't. Of course, every boss wants. But, listen carefully. The director called this person at 11:30 p.m. and asked for a certain report. No big deal, log on to internet, send an email, right? But even if it's an internet login and then forwarding an email, 11:30. Seriously, boss, you don't have to sleep, ah? I know you don't have to sleep, but I have to sleep. Yeah? I think we shouldn't need the government or the state to enact a law to say, oh, companies, it is against the law for companies to demand work from the staff beyond a certain hours. I mean, come on, use our common sense. We shouldn't need the state to protect us to that degree. We should stick up to the man sometimes. If your boss at 11 plus call you and ask you to produce a certain report, and by producing a certain report, I mean go to the office now, look for that file, and then bring it to that person's home. If ever, let me tell you, if ever you encounter someone like that, you should just put down the phone, and ask yourself, maybe the document that you should be digging through is not the one in the office, but it's your resume. You should be asking yourself, maybe you should be looking for another job. Yeah? Or maybe you should be asking your boss to change his attitude. Like, unless it's inside your T&C. Yeah? If it's inside your terms and conditions, and that's why it's very important to read through the document, the contract that you're signing. Who knows, maybe the one that you sign, it says, the undersignee shall discharge with all duties that is being given 24/7. Then, well, too bad, who asked you to sign? Yeah, but if not, you should never ever give in to such requests. Barring which, if it's a normal request and you keep saying no, then you are a jerk. You are a difficult person. Yeah. So if a Bodhisattva is like that, it is a transgression. Why? Because if you're uncooperative to others, you are basically sowing bad blood. You're making people dislike you. You're making yourself irritating. This is what we call the person are damn irritating. Right? Say yes. Of course, we have, not you lah. Those people lah. Those people who are uncooperative. Yeah? Yes. You have a
job market is bad.
You have a what?
Whole lot of house loan.
House loan.
The job market is bad.
Ah, yes. Yes, good point. So sometimes, yes, just take his legs. Yeah, just take up to here, like the chest, and then after that we have the caption on the Facebook, right? To protect his identity. Yeah. Yes, and you're correct, There are many people, because their everyday life is beset with this gnawing feeling that they have the house loan to fulfill, they have the car loan, they have their children's education loan, they have 101 loan to fulfill, and so they just have to put up. They just have to put up with all kinds of rubbish that is being dished to them. Yeah. That's unfortunate, but that's sadly the fact of life for some people. And that's why when I give talks to universities, undergrads and so on, I often highlight to them, when you settle down and you get a house, please, for your own sanity, do not overbuy. Do not buy a big house. And by big house, it's relative. By big house, it means anything that you cannot afford to pay in 15 years is probably too big for you. Seriously. I mean, the whole idea that you should take up a house loan and pay off over 20, 25 to 30 years is crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy. Think about it. Most people settle down late 20s. Yeah, late 20s. And then if you settle down late 20s, but by the time you are late 20s, how much have you earned anyway? I don't know, okay, maybe some of you like, Shifu, I already have 500k in my bank, what do you want? I'm happy for you if you have that. But most people weren't at 30 years old. Yeah? At 30, maybe you barely have enough to pay for the deposit. And maybe you still need your parents to help. You know? Then what happened? Then you are thinking, wow, but my friend, the parents bought them the condo. How can we go for a 4-room flat? And it's not just the kind of house or apartment that you get. It's also the fact that these days, most young couples, when they move in, they want to have it fully furnished. Right? I remember how, when I was much younger, when we moved to a new place, to a 4-room flat from was it a 2-room flat? I mean, in the 80s, early 80s. 3-room. We never stayed 3-room before. I say. I know. I have good memory. I will tell you, we have never stayed in a 3-room flat before. Huh? Yeah, that's not a 3-room. It's not a shame to have not stayed in a 3-room flat. Yeah. No, don't mind her. She has this notion, and I'll say it in front of her. Just don't turn the camera over. You see, many parents who are of the older generation, they have this notion, if we let people know that, we come from humble beginnings, people will look down on you, So my parents have been telling me, don't tell people so much things lah, Shifu, it's very paiseh wale. Do you feel paiseh about your parents that way? If you do, please don't be paiseh about that. Don't be embarrassed about that. I say, no matter how humble your beginnings, be proud for the fact that despite the humbleness of your beginning, your parents, through their heart, earn money through sweat and strength. They bring you up. That's something that you can be proud of. Not simply, because your parents have big house or big car, then you are proud. No. Your parents are honest individuals who care for you enough to go and work hard, despite everything, to make sure you have an education, and that's why you can understand English now. Be proud of that. Be very proud of that. Not simply because they have big house. I mean, if your parents happen to have a big house, fine and good. Doesn't mean that you have to be ashamed of them. But I'm never ashamed of my parents for not having a big house. Last time my parents were even afraid of going to visit me in the office, because they were afraid that if my colleagues were to know that they are not so educated, then they will look down on me. I'm like, if they are like that, they don't deserve to be my colleagues. I don't give a damn, if you will, about whether they look up or look down on you. No matter how educated you are still my parents. And they better respect that. And if I say that about my ex-colleagues, I will say that about my students. Right? Yeah. And I'm confident that if you are here in SGC, or for that matter, any temple, you wouldn't be like that. If you are like that, then it's about time to change your mindset. Yeah? Nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah. And I totally forgot what I want to say. Oh yeah, I remember. It's about how, when we moved to the 4-room flat, we didn't have the full furnishing, But from my angle, it was a beautiful thing because we grew with the house and the family. The family and the house grew together. Because when we first moved in, we brought some of the furnishing over, and then everything was super Spartan and simple. It was amazing. We could have so much space to run around. And then over time, then my parents, they saved some money or make some money here or there, and then we got the front front cabinet for the Buddha, for the Guanxin Pusa. Before that was on a plywood, high up there. We have to climb on the stool to, to to put the incense. And then later there was the front cabinet, with the glass window, and then one of the door have a hole later on because I was playing, and then I slide into it and knock a hole into it and got really whacked. One of the things I remember was when we shifted at some point, and then they decided not to bring that. I was actually quite disturbed. I was like, that was with us for so long, and it's still okay, why don't we bring it? Yeah, somehow it didn't seem to fit into the new place or something. But a lot of young people have this mindset, when we get married, we must have all these things, plus a car. Wow, jialat. Really jialat. So yes, there are people in this situation. Sometimes maybe they didn't know better. But once you know better, then you should do something about it. Yeah. But in case if you are in that situation, for some people then they feel like, bo pian lor. But still, I will tell you this. If your boss gives you an unreasonable demand, I would still say, stick it to the man. If it's unreasonable, and this is where you have to be really careful, really honest with yourself. You've got to really look at the mirror and ask yourself, was that unreasonable? Or is it something that you just don't think is correct? Is it factually, objectively, absolutely unnecessary or wrong? Is it a preference, or is it an ethical question? Is it a legal issue? You got to really ask yourself. And if it's legally, or if it's illegal, you should still really think twice, Even if you have a bank loan, especially if you have a bank loan, you really don't want to be saying yes to illegal, procedures at work. I've had one student come to me and tell me that in the past she had actually approved certain things, and kind of, and it's been a while she has stopped that, but recently there's some investigation, and now she's like having cold sweat at night, Yeah, so I say, especially if you have bank loan, never mind whether you have bank loan, if it's illegal, you should say no. If it's your personal preference, you don't like to do what your boss wants you to do, let me tell you, very simple. You must remember, you are there to work. Work, not do your hobby. Work is not about what you like to do, it's what you are paid to do. You know how many young people come and tell me, Shifu, I feel very lost. Why? I don't find fulfillment at work. It doesn't seem to connect with who I am. I'm like, in my mind, sometimes I'm thinking, sometimes I just blurt out, and I'm like, you go to work to pato. You're there to do work, leh. Work, how you feel. Who cares how you feel? Just get a job done, go back home, It may seem like a very cynical view of work, but seriously, there's a reason why your pay is called compensation. Because you didn't go there willingly. That's why they have to compensate you for your time lost. The harder it is, the tougher it is, the shittier the job, the bigger the compensation. If it's fun to do, easy to do, nice colleague, nice boss, why should they pay you so much? And if the pay is high also, why do you think the boss have to find you to do it? The boss do it himself. Oh my goodness. So there are circumstances where people feel that they are in a corner, that they cannot say no. But I still say, if you are required to do your job, just do your job. If it's just your preference, you must remember, you're there not to fulfill your preference. You're there as a professional to discharge your duties accordingly. If it's against legal procedures, you should say no. You should raise a red flag. You don't want to just go ahead with it so that you don't get fired. And then when the shitstorm comes, when the authorities, the ministry people come, and then ask you all to stop, hands off the keyboard, and ask for all the password, and then you start to panic. You don't want that, isn't it? Yes, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I say, let's say for instance, like just now I say the deadline, sometimes it can be like a hierarchy in the company.
Yes.
So the minister...
Not sometimes. There are always hierarchy in the company.
So sometimes the minister...
No. She's trying to not take him.
So sometimes the minister pass out a certain instruction. They may have take a longer time for
Minister. Okay.
I mean,
and then,
there's certain kind of instruction. So
yeah.
by the time
And by minister, of course, it can mean someone up in the company. May not be the actual minister.
So it can be down to the level. Means it's like the time given is like so short or like 1 hour. So the bosses also kanchiong say I cannot meet the deadline. So quick do the thing. Even me also I want to email just to cut off the deadline. So we are actually helping the bosses, or we actually...
This is what I sometimes suggest to people. As long as you're willing to not have a life, in order to fulfill some ridiculous deadline, as long as you continue willingly to do that, the bosses have no impetus to change that way of working. They will always continue to give you that kind of rubbish. As long as a team is willing to do OT just to finish the work, upper management will always feel like, no, you're not understaffed. You all managed to finish all the work. At some point, people have to ask themselves, hey, wait a minute. You guys are really giving us too much work. You guys need to hire more people. If you don't hire, you're not going to get a job done. It's your choice. Yeah. At some point, sometimes I have advised students. Sometimes they are undergrads. Sometimes they are actual adults who are working. And my advice to them is, if a project has to fail, maybe it's time for it to fail. By artificially propping it up through OTs, burning of your weekend, and all kinds of nonsense, you're artificially giving the upper level the impression that everything is fine. Once in a while, but choose your project wisely. Don't choose a project that will just wipe up the whole division. You know what I mean? You need to, well, I can't tell you exactly which one. Yeah, you need to ask yourself, which is the one that you can afford for it to fail without your boss, important thing, that will not kill your boss, but will give him enough pain to rethink his strategy. Or unless if you know that your boss, if your boss survive it, will give you a big time, then you may want to cripple one that will basically shift him elsewhere or something. Then you become the boss. I don't know. Yeah. But the funny thing is that sometimes when you do become the boss, then you see the limitations that they are facing. Then you realize that, gosh, and I thought it was easy. Then you realize that you're facing the upper brass who is harder to say no to. Then you realize that there are so much more constraints that your boss was facing that we were not aware of. Yeah. Work is never easy. Yeah, work is never easy. So, if a person do it once, it's a transgression. If a person do it multiple times, it's multiple transgression. And in this case, it's a transgression of defiled nature. Yeah, the intent. You purposefully choose not to cooperate. It's not about your inability to cooperate. It's about your choice to not cooperate. Okay? So, in some cases, you do decide to do that, but what happens? You act out of laziness or slackness. The baseline is, if you act out of detest, not happy, yeah, why must I do it your way? I don't want. Yeah, then it is a transgression. But sometimes people are just too tired. Yeah, lazy law, slack law. Then in this case, don't think that it's okay. It's still not okay. It's still a transgression, but it is of undefiled nature. Yeah, because your laziness is not directed at the person. Okay. Now there are some cases where it is non-transgression. Just now I mentioned, if it's illegal, if the other party's act is unlawful or not according to Dharma. So you will ask yourself, yeah, oh, a certain design or certain thing, you all want to put it this way. It's illegal, you know. No, we don't care. All of us have voted. We all say it's okay. Even if everybody says it's okay, if the law says it's not okay, it's still not okay. Yeah? The law is not a popularity vote. Likewise, the Dharma. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Yeah? Here, the Dharma includes ethics. So the important thing here I want to highlight is, when it comes to Dharma, don't always just look for the actual verse and then just go according to that one verse. Because the scripture, the verses, the precepts, does not encompass all possible actions that you can do. So you have to understand the principle behind the teachings and apply accordingly. Otherwise, a lot of things can be done because it's not clearly defined. Okay? There are cases where you are not able to cooperate because you are sick or weak. Yeah? You are supposed to do something and it is reasonable, it is legal, it is not unethical, but you fell sick. Before you could click send, you KO. Yeah? Because you were sick, you took some medicine, then you type the message, Then when we wake up, there's a lot of saliva, but then it's not sent. Okay. And next, if in order to uphold motions passed by the Sangha. Here Sangha refers to the community, but not everybody is in a Sangha. But what does Sangha mean? Sangha means an assembly. So in your context, if you are in an organization, let's say a company, and the company has already passed certain ruling, certain decisions have been made already, yeah, and you are supposed to do something or not do something, then you must cooperate it. You must decide accordingly, yeah. So in this case, it is what there was a decision made not to do A, and then some other groups decide to do B or do A. So this is a non-transgression clause, where if you are non-cooperative, it's still okay. Why? Because there was a decision to be non-cooperative. So for example, let's say there was a decision, okay, to not talk to somebody. There was a decision that, let's say somebody, or there are certain actions that shouldn't be done. Then some other people, in Singapore we have the after meeting. Yeah. So during the meeting, it was decided this shall not be done. After meeting, some people cho you, hey, actually not bad, hey, we do lah. So in such a case, when you decide not to cooperate with this smaller group, it is in view of the larger group. The decisions made by the larger group. Okay? So what else? If the other party's lawful act causes unlawful acts by many others. Sometimes you may do something legal, but it results in repercussion. Yeah. Repercussions by others that create chaos. So for example, you are at the traffic light, and then there's this auntie crossing the road. Then the the pedestrian crossing has turned red, and then the other side has turned red, your side turned green, and other lanes start going, but she's yeah, slowly going, and people behind all horning. Bah, 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 bah. Is it legal to go green light? So on one hand, green light is legal, but if you step forward, what will happen? Jialat lah, you knock the person down lah. So there may be some other problems. If in order to subdue a heterodox, so this is a bit specific. So if there are sometimes, in some cases, non-Buddhists, let me just say generally, non-Buddhists, okay? Sometimes non-Buddhists, not all, okay? In one particular case where non-Buddhists request for your cooperation or request for certain things to be done, but you know that if you do it, the person may think that the Dharma is wrong. So you choose not to do it. You choose to be uncooperative in order to send a message. To send a message to the non-Buddhists that the teaching is supreme, for example. Take for example, let's say you are observing the 8 precepts, and then someone who is not a Buddhist, do not understand about the Buddhist teaching, and then wonder, wow, you all observe precepts? Really, man? You observe precepts? Let's say it's a free thinker, so that it's not so sensitive. You're all thinking, oh, Shifu talking about which religion? No. Let's say it's a free thinker. And then a free thinker say, hey, you observe 8 precepts? Come lah, we all go karaoke and then have some drinks and then have some food. Watch out, one time break 3 precepts. Karaoke, break number 7. Then after that, drink, break number 5. Then food, break number 6. 5, 6, 7, all along. 8 precepts. So what happened? So you decide, okay, in order to subdue this non-believer, he may be doing this like to test or to challenge. Then you there are some other people who go ahead. You say no. I have undertaken this Atta Sila, the 8 precepts. And sorry, I will not be doing that. I will not join you. Tomorrow can. 8 precepts, one day, one night only. Jialat lah. Next day still got 5 precepts, still cannot drink, okay. Okay. If one uses skillful means, causing the other party's defilements to be subdued. So this is a very special case. Sometimes we may misuse it. This special case is, there are others whom you have interacted with, and this other person maybe do something that is not so right. Maybe this person is uncooperative. And as a result, what happens when a person wants your cooperation, you choose not to cooperate, for example. It is not tit for tat. That's why I say it's a very fine line. Sometimes we may misuse it. It is that by not cooperating with that person, it causes that person to pause. It causes the person to think, hey, this person is always cooperative. How come today don't cooperate with me? If you know that the person may think twice, then you can potentially do this. It is to trigger that person to think and be able to, for him or her, to overcome their own defilements, own fault, through introspection. So for example, like if you all offer me something, usually Shifu, wow, I have a lot of things, a lot of food still, come, give. Sometimes maybe Shifu will say, no, I do not accept your offer. Then we should think twice. Why is Shifu doing this today? If Shifu suka every day like that, then you can say, no lah, this Shifu, very emo one, temperament. Today bad mood cannot. Or Shifu, very tua sui bak like that one. One big eye, one small eye. So so and so give, can. Other people, no. It's not the case. If let's say somebody, usually okay, but suddenly that day, no. Then we should think, Don't always think, I'm correct, they are wrong. Don't always think this way. Especially if everybody disagree with you. Then you got to really ask yourself, am I always the correct one? And I expect everybody to come and apologize to me? Sometimes it is this kind of mindset. Oh, poor me, everybody will like bully me. Stop thinking that people have nothing better to do bully you. Ask yourself, reflect on yourself. Is it justified? Before we point fingers at others. And don't act so willfully. This precept is about willful action. 任性 Chinese understand? 任性. Suka. I bad mood do like that. I good mood do like that. Not good. Whether you will consider yourself a Bodhisattva or not, it's not fruitful. It doesn't help you in your spiritual life, nor in your day-to-day life. It doesn't help you in your relationships. It doesn't help you with your work on anything. Some people have the unfortunate merit. Let me explain. Why unfortunate merit? Merit is 福报嘛, 福报 should be good. But some people have the unfortunate merit of having good friends and good family members who always give in to them. Whatever they keep up a tantrum, they will give in. Not happy, then also give in. Everything give in. This is what I call unfortunate merit. Because then you don't know that you're wrong, you know. You think that you're correct. So Shifu have been very fortunate merit. Because even sometimes students come and tell me off. Yeah. But I feel very fortunate, you know. Because you go and ask around, how many Shifu have students come and tell him off? Now all of you think, who? No lah, not you lah. You are very nice. No, I really appreciate. Yeah, there were once or twice I make some mistake on some words pronunciation or explanation. Some students after class, hey Shifu, by the way, that word, I think it's not quite correct. Is it this character? Put it across in a very gentle way. Yeah, still respectful, but don't gloss over it. Not just respectful, then 师父讲的都是对. No, but respectfully correct. I appreciate it. I think it's a very positive thing. That we all grow together. Not just 师父 help you all grow, then 师父 just stunted growth. Okay? Yeah. So I hope we look at this precept. This precept can be most helpful in our spiritual life and also in our day-to-day life. If we look at I think this precept is quite straightforward, but let's just read through the Chinese text and then we wrap up for the day. So the Chinese text, 不随他戒 第38. 若菩萨以嫌恨心不随他者，是名为犯众多犯，是犯然后其。若懒惰懈怠，犯非然乎其。不犯者，若比喻不如法事，若病若无力，若护生智，若彼虽如法，能令多人起非法事，若服务外道，若以方便令彼调伏。Yeah, so let me see. Anything in particular to highlight? No, I think in this case, both the English and Chinese translation is pretty straightforward. Yeah. So as we have gone through earlier. Yeah. Any questions? Yes.
Just now you mentioned about the young grads, fresh grads, they are overcommit.
Yes.
I see the trend that the young grad they undercommit.
Huh?
They undercommit.
Fresh grad undercommit.
I mean that they actually end up to the certain marriage, they still don't want to get a house, don't want to work. No, that's to me.
Don't want to get a house, don't want to get married. They're married but don't want to get a house.
They still stay parent, the parent have to take care of.
Then kick them out lah. If get married, you can kick them out one. You are the main tenant ma. You call up HDB. Hello. HDB family services. We have two illegal squatters here. Yeah. First, you must talk to them. Secondly, you can send SMS. Thirdly, you draft a letter. If you don't know, I can draft for you. Yeah. Yeah. Dear so and so. Yeah. Eviction notice. You are hereby served 30 days. You must give people time. You are hereby given 30 days eviction notice. Yeah, effective from this date. Yeah, failing upon which a third party eviction company will be enlisted at your cost. Yeah, yeah, to remove your personal belongings from the premise. Any loss or damages suffered herein will be under your liabilities. Blah blah blah. Oh, so then you sign, and then after that you give one copy and request for her to sign one copy as acknowledgement. Yeah. Or you can I think that's one way. If they refuse to sign, you can go to the post office, ask for registered mail. Then they will make attempts for registered mail. As long as you have proved that you have tried to send registered mail, they can refuse. But as long as you have proved that you have made an attempt, they cannot deny it. Yeah. Then you make multiple copies, paste on the bedside, then you sleep. Oh, they see. On the ceiling, then they see. Okay. But jokes aside, with an actual tenant is easy. With family members, a bit tricky. Yeah. And sometimes the tricky part is not the asking them to move out. The tricky part is in our heart. Because the tricky part is the fear that if we ask them to go out, if we force them to go out, then they really have no way. Then what will they do? And we worry about the what if. That is the tricky part. Not the eviction. Eviction is very simple. You need help. I just call a few 小菩萨, go down, 2 hours, shift everything out. Yeah. You shift out to the corridor, then HDB will take care of it. Yeah. They will come and file him or her notice. So you let us know lah. We provide this service free of charge, okay? Free. Membership has its privileges.
What do you expect from your kid, right?
How do you know it's 30? Did you say?
Get married only about that time.
Oh yeah, around there.
Get married about 30 years old.
Yeah.
It can't be a like overnight realization.
Yeah. So it should be gradually lah. If maybe it's not you, maybe it's some other family. Yeah. And if you all know of somebody who have not, given due notice, yeah. We family members don't just give 30 days. Yeah, slowly over dinner and say that, just, let me tell you how my mother do it. My mother very smart. No, my mother never evict me lah, but I evict myself. But you know what, some mothers, not my mother, some mothers are very smart. They say, hey, my that friend, Ahu, then what? The son and daughter, stay at home, stay until 35 years, still don't move out. The other one better. The other one, 25 years old, move out already. Sleeping downstairs at the corridor. Yeah. So very subtly give this kind of message. Yeah. But you're correct actually. In some sense, because a lot of young people, they are seeing lesser and lesser reason to get married. Yeah. And the part about moving out. You see, in other countries, the social system, not in terms of social welfare, but the social structure is such that it's not difficult to find rental because it is commonplace. There are establishments, there are companies that actually build a whole apartment that is like studios. The whole place is all built just for people to rent. Yeah, like in US, it's very common. the ownership rate is much lower than Singapore. That's why Singapore, we pride ourselves to say that, oh, our ownership, home ownership is very high. Actually, it's home lease-ship. But it's not bad. At least so many people lease. Yeah, 30-year lease. Wow, xiong. Yeah. So in such cases, I mean, jokes aside, in such cases, spend some time to communicate the expectations. Better late than never. Yeah, but of course, better early than late. So share with your friends, and if you know of some of your peers or friends who are of that age, 20-something, I'm not saying that everybody must get married, but if you're not getting married, then maybe it's good to find out from the parents whether they feel comfortable with you continuing to staying in that place. The minimally, whether you stay with your parents or not, children should provide something for the parents. To me, this is not about, wow, Shifu, so money-minded. No. It's about making, yeah, very good. It's about duty towards our parents. I shared with many undergrads, minimally, you should allocate at least, no, actually I told them this. Some of them started a conversation asking me whether, we should have the 10% tithing, like that some other religions do. I told them, in Buddhism, giving must be voluntary. It shouldn't be and cannot be institutionalized, because once it's institutionalized, it becomes a form of tax. Yeah, it becomes a tax. So how about with our parents? So I told them, if you ask me, if there's one thing that I would say, please give, it's not to give to Shifu, it's to give to your parents. Because before you know Buddhism, your parents have taken care of you. Without your parents, you'll be, I don't know, in a drain or what, Give to your parents. And I told them, if you just give 10%, and I don't know what is the starting pay, recently, yeah, let's say it's 3 to 4K. Let's say your take home is 3K. Okay? After tax, after deduction, CPF, it's 3K. You take 10%, that's $300. $300 each or 300 in total? If it's 300 in total, then 150 to father and mother. Divided by average of 30 days, $5 per day. What do you want them to do with $5 a day? Huh? If they just go for a movie, Boka Lui. Yeah, so I told young people, I can't decide for you how much you should be giving, because I'm not you. I can't define filial piety for you. I can't put a number to it. But I just do that maths for you. And you see clearly, 10% is chump change, Yeah. So I told them, you decide yourself. Give according to what you can give. And most importantly, don't set up gyro transfer. Why? But Shifu, I set up gyro good ma, then I will not forget leh. Then you also forget. Precisely because if you set up gyro, you'll forget about it. Then you lose the chance to have that connection, that sense of tenderness and loving towards your parents. So I told them, don't set up gyro. Every month, spend time to go and ti-ti-tu-tu, and then put in an ang pao and offer to your parents. But of course, if every month you offer $5,000, don't one time go to the cashier, the teller, and then think to one step of $50. Then every month on the same day, then people spot it. This one every month got ching. Yeah, do it discreetly lah. But do it with your own hands. Kneel down and thank them for their love and care. It's not that you can repay with that money, It's not. But it's just to make it concrete, to show your appreciation. And I tell young people, don't just give them But Shifu, how about if I just give them a subcut? I say no. You can give them a subcut, go ahead. But don't just give a subcut and say, and when your mommy say, hey, that our cooker like not working well, I think we need to get a new one. Then you say, go and get I already get you a subcut. Don't do that. When we are small and when we are a kid, we fall sick. Do our parents say, give you subcut, you go and see doctor? I mean, maybe some parents do that nowadays. But it'll be very sad, isn't it? And if our parents don't do that, why should we do that to them? If they want something, take the time. Take the time. Take the time to bring them to the shop, look around. It's the most precious commodity we have is our time, our precious human life. Give your life to your parents. That's the greatest gift. Money is because of your time that you spend at work. Spend that time with your parent. Yeah. Okay? Put our palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。